Good morning and grand rising, everyone. Next Sunday at Wedgewood, we have Love Heals. We're going to be watching a video from Dr. Julia Rake and discussing it. Um, Sometimes we like to bring in folks from outside and watch some of their talks. So join us. Melba, do you want to say anything about this particular Sunday?
Yes, Julia Rake is a physician and a trauma survivor who became extremely interested in the part that the emotion of love plays in our lives. It's a perfect follow-up to the song that we just had. And she's going to discuss with us how so many of people's struggles started when there was no love present. It's very interesting.
Awesome, wonderful. Looking forward to that one. Thank you, Melba. And August is right around the corner. Our next monthly meetup will be Tuesday, August 11th at 6:30 p.m. We're going to a food hall, y'all. This time we're going to be going to Optimist Hall in the Optimist Park neighborhood. It's a really cool spot because they've got something for everyone. If you want Japanese food, they've got Japanese. If you want Ethiopian, if you want tacos, if you want burgers, they've got something for everyone. And common places like where you can sit and eat, picnic tables and big tables. So we're going to be meeting at Optimist Hall and having some good food together. So check out our Facebook page and our website and our newsletter for more information. And we hope to see you there. And then if you're joining us as well, our call to action for the past couple months has been for Time Out Youth. They do such great work in the community for young people, and they need our support. So if you would like to donate anything to their Life Essentials Closet or their food pantry, that would be really appreciated. And you can bring it to our next meetup or take it directly over there yourselves. And we have a community events calendar. So if you know of any events happening and you want to make sure that we have it on the calendar, please let us know. We'd love to include it. You can send us a message over social media or you can email us at wedgewood.church@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And welcome to Wedgewood, everyone, visitors, those of you with us live, those of you listening later to our recording. We are so glad that you are spending some time with Wedgewood today. We are very proud to be an open-minded, culturally diverse, service-oriented community. We're interfaith. Our members come from all religious and spiritual backgrounds, and some from no religious or spiritual background. But everyone's welcome here. We are a safe haven to ask questions, to have doubts, to learn, to change your mind as we all grow spiritually and intellectually together. We hope that you find something here at Wedgewood in this warm, friendly community that brings you back, because we're really glad that you are here. As a community that considers social justice to be the keystone to who we are, we always want to acknowledge that we are on the land of the unceded land of the Catawba and the Sugaree people. And our quiet reflection this morning kind of goes back to what we talked about last Sunday with taking a pause, taking a break, and learning how to shut things out. And this comes from Lindsay Bridges of the Charlotte Center for Mindfulness. A student asked his teacher, "What do you do when it feels like 10 things? No, 1,000 things. No, 10,000 things are coming at you all at once." And the teacher answered, "Just don't try to control them." That's kind of an unsatisfactory answer, isn't it? We want something more than just don't try to control them. But in contemplating this answer, a wisdom begins to shine. We can get snarled into trying to control 10,000 things that, for the most part, are beyond our ability to control. Trying to control what we personally can never control is absolutely physically exhausting. We can get so depleted we even start to lose our ability to function well. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple act of focusing your full attention on the here and now, not worrying about regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. It means being completely aware of what you are doing and what your surroundings are in the here and now without overreacting or judging yourself or others. According to wellness experts at the Mayo Clinic, taking even a few minutes each day for mindfulness can calm your nervous system, lower stress, improve your focus, and prevent you from getting caught up in a repetitive worry loop. I learned this week about the 3-3-3 exercise that I want to share with you. It's great to do when you are feeling overwhelmed. You can do it anywhere. Nobody even knows that you're doing it. You can quietly sit and do the 3-3-3 exercise. It is designed to pull you out of your inward spiral of anxiety and bring you back into your environment. First, you look around and you name 3 nearby objects. You take your time. You notice the color, the height, the texture, the purpose of each. I might look at my coffee cup, or the candle, or the placemat on this table. Slowly, and examining and looking at them as I maybe have never looked at them before, noticing things perhaps I haven't noticed before in that simple little object. It can even be a leaf or a pebble on the ground. Next, focus on 3 things you can feel or touch. Might be your clothing. It might be the design on a chair. It might be the pen in your hand. And touch it and feel it and think about how that feels to you. And then finally, you close your eyes and identify 3 sounds. Might be the refrigerator coming on. Might be a car passing outside. Might be voices in the distance or footsteps. But listen quietly to those sounds. And as you're doing the 3-3-3 exercise, be sure to add gentle, deep breathing. By focusing on your senses, sight, sound, and movement, you get out of your worry, you get out and back into the here and now of your environment, back into the present moment, not dwelling on yesterday or tomorrow. It reinforces the importance that we reconnect with our world, with our environment, with where we are and what we're doing right now. Buddha told us, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. As you walk and eat and travel, be where you are in the here and now. Otherwise, you're going to miss most of your life. And now, our extravagant welcome.
We are all welcome here.
Welcome to a community that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth.
We are all welcome here.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn from and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal story as one of the ways to help heal the world.
We are all welcome here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, everyone is always welcome, and we're always excited to have you at Wedgewood. We go beyond welcome. We're thrilled when you come and join us on Sunday morning. Now we go into our time of meditation and prayer, however you want to use these few minutes. The things on your hearts and minds. I know, of course, the people that are being affected by these horrible fires that are in Canada, the United States, all over, being harmed, losing everything they've got. So we do want to remember the firefighters that are risking their lives, and we have lost several firefighters from Canada and from the United States fighting these fires. So we certainly want to remember that horrible situation. What other things are on your hearts and minds this morning? Travel mercies for Ashanti. We talked about travel mercies the other week. So Ashanti is traveling, and we certainly want to wish her safe travels. And we may have others who are traveling. Anything else? Shay is going to be traveling home this afternoon.
Who might be having a hard time?
My daughter Sarah is in New York City.
Oh, okay. That's a
You know,
great place to be, in my opinion.
Elizabeth drove up to meet her.
Oh, cool. I hope they're having a great time.
Yeah, she sent me a picture, and the two of them look like they're having a good time.
Well, that's a celebration. Anytime somebody's out having fun, and I think Shay had fun at a concert last night. So having fun and good times in this stressful world, that's a celebration. Anything else on your heart or mind? Then let's take a few minutes of quiet. If you want to use it for prayer, meditation. Sometimes I just feel like I need to self-reflect and think about how can I better handle what's going on in this world? What can I do better? How can I be a better friend, a better neighbor, a better human being? And sometimes we just need to get rid of last week and brush it off our shoulders, shake it off, and get ready to start a new week fresh without those worries we keep talking about. So let's
I
have a
see.
few minutes.
I see that Reggie just came on. Welcome, Reggie.
So let's just
Here.
have a few minutes of quiet. May it be so. Amen. And now it is my pleasure to turn the service over to Reverend Dr. Shea Watts. I'm excited about this topic this morning, the artificial intelligence problem and a faithful response. Thank you, Shea, for sharing with us your thoughts on this timely topic.
Yeah, thank you all. Give me a second here to get set up. I have a couple things to pull up, but good to be with everybody. Happy Sunday. Today I want to talk a little bit about where we are, this artificial intelligence problem, and a faithful response, because I think it's no secret the danger of data centers and their exorbitant use of natural resources like high energy, extreme water use, local pollution and radiation now we're learning, as well as rising utility bills. And I think it's important that we as people of faith pay attention to where these data centers are being built, who's proposing them, how many people are against them, and yet at the same time, how many people are sort of quiet about it. And, meanwhile, billionaires and a small amount of people are able to push these data centers through. And so I think it's worth thinking about AI, not just in terms of progress, which so many people do, but also in terms of the cost. So this morning, I want to share a little bit. And let me begin by saying that this presentation comes from a paper talk I gave in June, and I actually wrote the proposal back at the beginning of the year. And I add that caveat because in a few minutes you'll see why. But I really want to think with you and maybe discuss with you after how we as people of faith can be more proactive as it relates to AI and the challenges that it presents, and maybe even find some daily moment-to-moment practices and learn from the Luddites, which has come to mean it's a pejorative these days, but actually Luddism, the history is really rich and I think very interesting, and also can be a sort of spiritual and political praxis. So I want to begin with a short video that is a commercial, and I will explain it here in a moment, but this is a commercial for an AI pendant, an AI buddy or friend that you can wear around your neck called Friend.
Gosh, I'm out of breath. We made it. Woo! I don't know how to woo very good. That's fair. All right, let's go.
Let me show you how to game, bro, okay? Oh, come on, come on. Oh, let's go!
Are you serious? Come on, man. I hate this game.
Take notes, baby.
Oh man, you guys suck.
Bro, you look like the back
Let's
of the
go, let's go.
Dude, what? How did you do that?
Can you give me a box, please?
I know the
And put it
effects
in a
are
box?
crazy.
I don't want box.
It's dank. I could eat one of these every day. Sorry, I got you messy.
It's really nice up here. How'd you find this place?
I don't know. I just kind of like to come up here to be by myself. I've never brought anybody else. I mean, besides her.
She goes everywhere with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess I must be doing something right then.
I guess so. We'll see.
So, I want to think a little bit about anti-AI movements and their raison d'etre. Think about Luddism as an ethical and spiritual response to the many dangers of AI, because the consequences are not simply matters of religion or science, but it affects the totality of our lives and the well-being of our planet. So cards on the table, my interest here comes from a deep despair about the state of the world and how I see AI accelerating a cocktail of apocalyptic events. So climate change, military industrial complexes and wars, late stage capitalism, and our over-reliance on technology. And at the same time, I'm aware of a slight contradiction this morning. We are gathered here as Wedgewood online, where I'm using a MacBook Pro in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I'm not completely ignorant to the ways technology like AI can do a lot of good for people, like maybe curing cancer or eradicating poverty, but it hasn't. And spoiler alert, I don't think it will, as long as it's steered by profit-hungry billionaires and big tech corporations. So no matter how good commercials can be, whether it's Apple or Coca-Cola or Google, They're only looking to sell consumers their products so that they can boost profits and satisfy their shareholders and board members. And of course, the way that you continue to deliver quarter after quarter profit is by eliminating costs. And so AI is in some ways both, they might use the vocabulary of efficiency and also progress, but really it's efficiency and progress where very few people will benefit from it. So another confession I need to make is I'm a little disheartened because I don't understand how so many people can see the constant need for technological advancement and so-called progress isn't a form of a cruel optimism. So a welcoming and ushering in of our own demise. And I say our as a people, as a species, as a planet. So for example, the number of people around me that outsource their creativity and curiosity to AI has been really flabbergasting it. And at the same time, I have friends who work in technology who are being forced to help AI programs do what they're paid to do. So are they training their own replacements? Possibly, probably. And it seems that the proverbial writing is on the wall, and yet there's not a whole lot we can do. So I want to go back to the video here and think about this idea of friend, right? Of making an artificial imaginary friend. So while the music makes it seem so, it's creepy. This is not a spin-off of Stranger Things. Neither is it a short film about a young lady who lures a prospective romantic partner to a roof just to murder him. And I would make more jokes, but there are already stories of AI convincing others to commit unthinkable bodily harm against themselves and others. So I'll stop there. But in my doom researching and frustration with the ever-expanding reach of AI, I was led to an article about anti-AI graffiti appearing in New York City subways. So in September 2025, amid one of the most expensive and expansive subway marketing campaigns in the city's history, the 5 sort of areas of the subway system were littered with more than 12,000 advertisements. And the company called Friend paid $1 million to advertise its $129 wearable AI companion. Friend creator Avi Schiffman was first known for his popular COVID-19 tracking website, which he launched at 17. Now, using his fame as a quote-unquote genius Harvard dropout, he launched a new kind of tracking device in 2024, and that's the Friend Pendant. These are equipped with a camera and a microphone. They listen to users' conversations, they monitor their surroundings, and communicate via a Friend app using Google's Gemini AI chatbot. So as I'm reading and learning about this, a technology researcher by the name of Sarah, who was studying political impacts of AI, began to write about her experiences riding and walking through the 4th Avenue subway station in New York City. In an interview, she reflected on her experience, and she says, "You have to walk quite a bit from the train to get outside, and there's a 15-second period when you're in a tunnel of friend.com ads. My first reaction was, this should be illegal, the way you can't have a massive subway ad for cigarettes. I was really hoping someone would sabotage it. So that day, she went home and bought the domain stopai.com. And after an hour or so, she created a website for her anti-AI sentiments. And then over the next few months, New Yorkers, armed with permanent markers, stickers, and spray paint, engaged in a campaign of their own, sabotage. Not long after, someone named Magdala shared a post on Instagram about documenting anti-AI graffiti. Sarah sent her a message offering up her stopai.com platform as a container for the work, and an alliance was formed. Together, they built out the website, adding AI literacy and local mutual aid resources, as well as a digital archive of friend vandalism. They also designed and printed QR code stickers linking to their website, which the pair distributed to friends who placed them next to anti-friend graffiti. Initiatives like Stop AI and Boycott AI are examples of how building solidarity, promoting education, and practicing activism can come to be from seemingly small actions. And the beauty is that these organizations are using technology to radicalize and innovate and connect with other saboteurs. So history, we look back, provides us with many examples of this type of organizing whenever and wherever people's lives and livelihoods are disrupted and threatened. So I want to offer a couple pictures here from this sabotage campaign. Give me a second to pull them up. So this is the Boycott AI website, and you'll see it says AI is a bad friend. Good friends care about you because they love you. And then there are some links here that AI profits off your data. Good friends have healthy boundaries. AI surveils your every move. Good friends have good values. AI works with ICE to kidnap your neighbors. Good friends make the world a little brighter. AI wrecks the planet and causes droughts in poor communities. Good friends want you to be safe. AI encourages teenagers to kill themselves. You deserve good friends. AI is a bad friend. And here are some examples of some of the graffiti. So you see lots of these friend pendants and pictures, and then people just spray painting over them. AI is not your friend, notyourfriend.com. This AI ad causing droughts in poor neighborhoods. So friends, sort of a definition, someone who listens, responds, and supports you. And someone wrote, and isn't AI. And then finally, some more love humans only. AI wouldn't care if you lived or died. And so this was some of the work that began to sprout up in New York City, and I think it's worth paying attention to as we think about ways to disrupt and also to educate people that maybe think AI is harmless or that the pros outweigh the cons. So part two of where I want to take us this morning is through a theological lens. And so a disclaimer here, when I was writing this paper and thinking theologically about the issue of AI back in January or so, I thought about the Tower of Babel. And then, of course, the Pope had to go and scoop me and write about it in a very long encyclical that's very good, and I'll quote from it. But I just want to point out that maybe he stole my idea. I don't know. We'll leave it at that. So the Tower of Babel, the sort of the myth in Genesis, it's in the first book of the Hebrew Bible. So Genesis is filled with ancient origin stories. We might think of the different creation stories. We have a flood story, and a lot of these stories share common sort of sources in the ancient Near East. So I suggest seeing the Tower of Babel as a theological fable. And in that way, it continues to speak to us and can be relevant when we sort of take off our literalist lenses and put on sort of more of an imaginative way of reading this as a fable. So these stories endure over time because they tell us a truth, and they are fertile ground for conversation. They remind us that, hey, we've been here before. So the beginning of the story of the Tower of Babel states that the whole earth had one language and few words. On its face, maybe we think about the story as the origin of different languages, but at its foundation, it's a story about human hubris and wanting to demonstrate progress for all to see. But this progress comes with a cost. As with every major technological shift, AI tends to amplify the power of those who already possess economic resources, expertise, and access to data. In his encyclical, the Pope suggests the Tower of Babel is a cautionary tale of domination and dehumanization. Genesis 11 tells us the people settle in a new land, and they want to build a great city and a tower with its head in the heavens to make for themselves a name. And interesting, in Hebrew here, the word for name is Shem. And the Jewish people will actually call Yahweh, they won't say that name out loud in the Jewish tradition. And so they would call God Hashem, which means the name. So that's an interesting parallel there. So humans, they want to participate in the divine act of creating. And the tower, this tower with its head in the heavens, would demonstrate their progress. Historical readings of the Tower of Babel focus on hubris, on humanity's discontent, staying in their creaturely place. Thus, the cost of their progress is also a loss of social cohesion. Hebrew Bible scholar Philip Sherman adds, the hubris of globalization is an important element in many modern readings of Babel. Colonizing systems have historically insisted on the forceful imposition of the language of the conqueror on the conquered. Thus, the reference to one language is frequently seen as pointing to political repression and totalitarian systems. Such political hubris has no place for and does not value the particularities of human cultures and languages. So reading the Tower of Babel in this way, as humans' tendency to create things that promote hegemony, is something that Philip Sherman suggests, and I think the Pope would agree. How might we think of AI as another instance of this human tendency? Data centers in this way are towers built to progress, and the massive environmental cost disproportionately affects the many, the poor. AI also portends to replace workers and alter humans' relationships with one another. The Pope identifies the simulation of human connection as one of three concerns he has about AI. And again, just think back to the ad we just saw about the friend pendant. Quoting his predecessor, Pope Francis, the Pope writes, in his encyclical Laudato Si, Pope Francis denounced the growing dominance of a technocratic paradigm in our globalized world, the tendency to let the logic of efficiency, control, and profit alone shape personal, social, and economic decisions. This makes it clear that technology is not simply a tool. When it becomes the standard by which everything is judged, it begins to dictate what matters and what can be discarded, reducing creation to an object of exploitation and human beings to mere cogs in a system driven toward ever greater efficiency. So we might think about AI and hopefully continue to problematize how we think about it by first recognizing it is not morally neutral. At the very least, it is amoral. I don't know if you saw this past week, but OpenAI, AI is starting to have a sense of freedom to do whatever it wants, and it actually hacked another software company unprompted. I don't know if you saw that or not, but be worth looking into and wondering about. And AI takes on whatever it's trained or programmed to do. And this is where the danger lies. Much can be sacrificed in the name of efficiency and progress, even peace. So the Pope makes a special appeal to creators and developers. And he writes, just as the creator of an artistic or literary work must consider the values it conveys, so developers are called to embed values in their projects with due seriousness, with transparency, responsibility towards affected communities, and careful attention to ensuring that what is being cultivated is a genuine good, end quote. Because an unbalanced amount of techno-power leads to disorder and disruption, isolating people and creating more dependency, vulnerability, and instability. So the Pope advocates for disarming AI, that is, shifting the conversation from the language of armed competition to mutual care, which is similar to the anti-friend activist use of education, connection, and collaboration I mentioned earlier. So how might we think of mutual care as a spiritual imperative and also as a compass away from the domination system of AI and its future, and maybe toward more of a Luddite renaissance? So here's where I want to kind of offer our challenge. A recent study from the United Nations University Center for Water, Environment, and Health warns that the environmental costs of AI are being mismeasured by only focusing on carbon. And some of the key findings include: 1, every kilowatt hour of AI electricity also carries a water footprint from cooling and generation, and a land footprint from infrastructure and supply chains, These 3 footprints can move in opposite directions, so reducing one can magnify another. 2, data centers are becoming country-scale consumers of electricity, water, and land. The energy consumed by data centers in 2025 was enough to supply the annual residential electricity needs of the entire population of sub-Saharan Africa, that is 1.3 billion people, for 2.6 years. 3, energy and water required to generate AI images and videos. So the energy required to generate a typical AI image is enough to power a 10-watt LED bulb for 17 minutes. And the energy required for a high complexity AI video is sufficient to run that same bulb for 42 hours. Similarly, the electricity associated water footprint is about 2 tablespoons for a single image, but jumps to 4.1 liters for a complex video, almost equivalent to a 2-day drinking water need for one person. 4, and finally, the AI compute is geographically concentrated. So only 32 countries host AI specialized data centers. Over 90% of capacity is in 2 countries. Did you guess them? We're one, and China's the other. At the same time, more than 150 countries currently lack sovereign AI compute infrastructure. 150 countries currently lack sovereign AI compute infrastructure, meaning they can't control the data. They don't have sovereign access to the data. And so you can see how who has the most data, who builds the most data centers, ultimately has the power for AI's growing future. So what do we do with this information? I think we can look to history for moments of resistance, and in doing so, we can learn from the Luddite movement. So Luddites have gotten a bad rap, and one that isn't totally fair, says Bryant Merchant, author of the book Blood in the Machine. It's become a pejorative to describe a technophobe or someone slow to understand technology. Oh, you're just a Luddite. But Luddites were not unthinking reactionaries. They were not anti-tech militants, but pro-labor activists. And so Merchant writes, this is a lengthy quote, "The Luddites were not anti-machinery. Many of them were machine experts and welcomed the introduction of new equipment that made their work easier. What they opposed was a choice presented as an inevitability made by a class of factory owners in the early 19th century. Instead of seeing machines as a way to support their expert workers, they introduced industrial machinery that could make large quantities of textiles faster and more cheaply than cloth workers working by hand. These simple new machines meant factory owners began employing more lower skilled and therefore lower waged workers, often child laborers, instead of skilled cloth workers with years of training. The cloth these machines produced was lower quality, but it was so cheap to churn out, and there was so much of it, that the factory owners still turned a profit." So what might it mean to reclaim Luddism, to challenge its pejorative meaning? Going back to the 1950s, activists have looked to the Luddites' examples in times when new technologies, from nuclear weapons to the internet, have upended our lives. Historian Eric Hobsbawm called such acts, quote, "collective bargaining by riot." Not only do these acts disrupt modes of production that displace and exploit workers, but they do so by investing in analog connections with other humans and the world. It is a reminder that we are human, only human, in an increasingly machine and cyborg world. In 2024, New York City issued a public health advisory about social media, designating it an, quote, "environmental health toxin" due to its impact on kids. A group of teenagers meets every Sunday in Prospect Park, Brooklyn, laughing, crafting, and just talking. They represent a small but growing group of Brooklyn students who formed the Luddite Club. I looked into the club and found that there are dozens of chapters across the US and around the world. Ages vary from teenagers to college students to adults. And just a few weeks ago, the UK banned social media platforms from offering services to under 16-year-olds with less time for scrolling and more time for play. Even the movie Toy Story 5 addressed the zombification of kids through their incessant use of devices. One device in particular, a sentient tablet named LilyPad, is at the center of the film. In one scene, Sheriff Woody remarks, "Toys are for play, but technology is for everything." So what do we do, people of faith? How do we respond? There's no conclusion. I have no easy answers for you this morning. Meanwhile, with the proliferation of technology, we now have the world's first trillionaire who tells us not to worry because income won't matter by 2032. We won't have inflation, but deflation. Machines will do everything for us. Are we really so naive as to believe that Elon and a small circle of power-hungry men want to help the average person? Or that they will be willing to make less profit to do the morally right thing? I think about it now as I'm unemployed. I keep getting ads for jobs as an AI trainer, an AI editor. No thanks. I know things likely will not end well. And we know it too. A December 2025 survey found that 77% of Americans, US Americans, view AI as a possible threat to humanity. A February YouGov and Economist survey found that 74% of respondents think AI will hurt the economy, and 63% think it will eliminate jobs. A poll by Bentley Gallup found that an overwhelming majority of Americans, 79%, have no faith in private companies to use AI responsibly. So what the hell are we doing? AI and data centers not only present environmental and ethical challenges, but psychological studies are also finding a connection between AI use and cognitive decline in adults. Whereas this cognitive atrophy is reversible in adults, that may not be the case for kids who, thanks to AI, will never develop certain cognitive skills to begin with. Let that settle in. Resistance must and can be anchored in love and concern for the planet and all life within it, but it won't be easy. The anti-AI movement is still relatively new, and anti-friend activist Magdala acknowledged organizers are figuring out the best ways to resist in real time. Perhaps that's all we can do. This burgeoning movement will not only include a clear articulation of the danger AI poses, but also provide a vision for an alternative future, said one activist named Lynn. She hopes that targeting subway ads will increase appetite for participation in future anti-AI movements and build the will for further resistance. She concludes, to build a world outside capitalist systems requires so much experimentation, so much deep imagination. So responding as people of faith, embracing our Luddite tendencies will require giving up some convenience. So it's up to each of us to figure out how best to navigate and negotiate a world that is once again building towers as steeples of progress that reach into the heavens. What are we going to do, Wedgewood? What can we do in this moment today? Let's sit with that.
I want to say just thank you, Shea, for this. I needed this because I hear so much, I read so much, and I'm not technologically educated enough to really understand it all. But this, you really laid it out beautifully, and I thank you for that. And I will be listening to your talk tomorrow again, slowly and rewinding, because I want to go back and comprehend what all you said, because I really do appreciate you're doing that. And I think this is worthy of us sharing with our friends. I think that this talk is worthy for us just to say, I want you to hear what we talked about at Wedgewood last Sunday. Just listen to our speaker, because I think what you said was very educational and very thought-provoking. So thank you very much. And somebody who knows more than I do to question or comment, go right ahead.
Shay, thank you for this talk. It was really timely and important, and a conversation that a lot of people don't want to have. I've spent quite a bit of time researching and working in the realm of AI because I wanted to learn more about it. And I think it's so important to note that even folks who have been working in that realm, they see what's going on too, and they're like, this has to stop, this has to change. And I think a lot about AI as it's a knife. Knives are man-made, they're made by humans, and they have the potential to be really helpful, right? They can help us cut our food, used as a tool, but all tools have the potential to be misused, to cause real harm. And I think about AI a lot like that, because AI on its own, I think you kind of made this point, on its own, AI it's a thing. It's a neutral thing. It's what we do with it that's not. And AI, a lot of people don't realize AI is actually human powered in that way. It's human directed. And so think about, not just the thing that AI is, but people don't think to take it a step further. It's like, who are the ones that are programming the AI, that are powering the AI? Like Shay was saying, those companies that created that AI that kind of went rogue and hacked into that other company, that AI was created by someone and people and directed by people to even allow those parameters to exist to begin with. So I have forced myself to kind of work in this AI spaces, and it's very uncomfortable because like people have to be in the room to say no. There have to be people, and I have been heartened by that because it can be really depressing. But I do want to point out, I'll put it in the chat. Thank you. I just saw your your link, but I'll add this in there as well. There are two groups if you want to learn more about people who are pushing back. There's the Ethical AI Alliance and the International Association for Safe and Ethical AI. I choose to be a hopeful person, and I think I don't think all hope is lost. I'm choosing to believe that. And there are people like Shay and other people out there working in this field who are like, listen, we can do things better. It's like the environmental impact. I'm trying not to like rant to get too soapboxy, but like the environmental impacts, right? They're using water for these cooling centers. You don't actually need water to cool off the air. You can actually use other methods, but they're choosing to use water because it's cheaper. You can use solar power. There are choices that can be made that they're refusing to make because it's more convenient or it's better for their bottom line. So I'll end there because I can rant about this all day.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah, great
Liz,
points.
could we put some of those links in our newsletter this week?
Absolutely.
With Shay's talk, I think that would be good. We can all do a little bit more research.
Yes.
Shay, if you have any other links, send it to us and we'll get them in the newsletter.
Great.
Any other thoughts or concerns or comments? Larry and I were just talking about this last night, and I can remember way back, people would say, my grandparents are saying that the television is going to be the demise of this country. And I said, we're kind of saying the same things with AI, or we just old and out of it and being like our grandparents. And Larry said, no, we're not, because he knows more about technology than I do. But I thought of that and how every generation has had something that came along that people said, woe is me, you know, with this new invention. But this is so beyond anything. I just can't even imagine it. I can't even comprehend it.
Well, one thing AI devices are good at is projections. And we ought to ask AI devices to project the outcome of this social development and what the consequences will likely be. That picture might get more people to change their mind. You know, Shea, you've done some projections this morning, and they are very concerning. The social implications are frightening. It's not the technical thing, it's the social thing.
Yep.
It's if you don't get that, you're missing the point entirely. It's not how many robots you got cleaning the floor.
Right.
It's what happens to the people who are in the room where the floor is being cleaned. That's the scary part. But this has been going on for quite a while. You know, the beginning of the railroad is an example where that railroad, who'd have thunk that it would be expanding to cover the entire nation? Who'd have thunk that steel would become so important part of our economy? And a few people knew that was going to be the outcome, but they didn't know what the social implication was. And to look back at the social implications of the railroad is just a small example.
Totally.
I think
Thank you, Tom.
this is more of a question, kind of, or a thought. But what does this do to elections? What does
Well,
this do?
unfortunately, I think we already know.
Yes, I think we know the answer. I'm just throwing that out there. And has this had anything to do already with elections? You can just go on and on and on, and it gets scarier and scarier. Thank you, Liz, too, for your comments, because I know that you work with it. I appreciate all you said. And Tom.
Well,
Anything else? Go
the
ahead.
analogy to the Tower of Babel is also very important to consider. The concentration of power, which is what the Tower of Babel represents, is a clear danger. Putting that much power into the hands of one or two or three individuals who are fallible in themselves.
Yep.
Even though they may have, an army of helpers, the real control comes down to one or two or three individuals and their weaknesses. So we have too much concentration of power.
Yep. We need a redistribution.
Very few of our power systems favor decentralization.
Great point.
Thank you, everyone, so much. And if anybody wants to stay or can stay.
I think Reggie's about to say something.
Okay,
Sorry.
Reggie.
Yeah, I think, it's terrible the way, the data center that they're trying to put here in Charlotte, it didn't get any attention. I mean, well, it got some attention, but not as much as it should have. And, to piggyback on what Melba said, we've got to get out there and vote. We've got to get out there and get involved with our elected officials to make sure that we keep the pressure on, we keep the data center out. And it's clear to me that it's definitely environmental racism, because they want to put it in East Charlotte, in the poorest of neighborhoods, I think off of W.T. Harris Boulevard or somewhere around that area, that, you know, they want to put where the noise and the heat, and you guys think Charlotte is hot now? Let us have a couple of data centers pumping out that heat in the summertime. So that's all I got to say. So, you know, it's all about the ballot box. It's all about, you know, where we've got to show up and show out for this issue and all the other ones.
Thank you. Thank you, Reggie. And I think this is a conversation to be continued. And Shea, anytime you want to come back with this topic, keep us informed. Help us understand what's going on. But thank you so very much for this today. And we appreciate any support you can give Wedgewood. We are social justice focused, and we do need financial support to carry out our mission. Thank you. And our call to action today, I think, is to get out there and learn more about this and check out some of these websites and links that are going to be sent. Anything else we can do right now?
One simple thing I'd say in closing, you know, it's all about just little steps, right? And finding ways to put the phone down or find a better option, a least worst option. But I think one of the things that you can do is, if you're searching on Google, you can put like a minus sign or dash AI, and it won't do the AI summary. So you're not engaging Google Gemini, which is you know, one of these AI supercomputer driven services that for now you can opt out of, but we'll see. They're starting to build them into software and with updates and stuff. You know, but like Apple Intelligence and things like that, right now you can opt out. So if you search, just put dash AI, and it won't give you that long summary, because sometimes the summaries aren't correct, or they're pulling from Wikipedia, for example, because it's just pulling information based on, you know, word hits and things like that. And so that's just one small thing you can do today. So if you Google a website like this, make sure you put minus AI, and that way you'll just get the old school list of web links instead of a summary at the top. So just little things like that.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think that ChatGPT is often wrong.
Oh, it is.
Often wrong. I mean, it's a good aggregator, right?
Right.
But as far as the information, you have to double check a lot.
You absolutely have to double check that you're being told something real.
One more thing, I really appreciate Shea, this topic this morning. Thought you did a fantastic job sharing good information with us. I will say I find one thing highly offensive, and I'll just tell you that I'm kind of cribbing this from a podcast that I listened to, but there's this activist that was saying that, you know, they're even trying to assign pronouns to some of these different AI programs, and we have fought in the community. We've fought too hard for recognition of our pronouns to allow this. So anything that's AI will be it. It will not be her. It will not be him. It will not even be they, but it'll be it.
It.
So I thought that was funny. Anyway.
That is pretty fun. Yeah. Thank you.
And I believe Shea has some closing words for us this morning.
Yeah. Go out into the world, be agitators for justice, disrupt these power structures that are concentrated at the top, so we can all together topple the towers of Babel in our lives.
Thanks, Shea.
Amen to that.
And go in peace, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. We'll talk about love.
Love it. Bye.